Hello everyone, I'm Martinez and it's my birth month. So in the description of all of my videos, leading up to my birthday and on my birthday, I'll have my Amazon wish list in the description. If you want to get anything, I appreciate it. If you want to send me friend mail and you don't have my address already, you can send me a message on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I hope you enjoy the video. Good morning, everyone. Happy Favorites Friday. And we're chatting my favorite shows. So let's ask Siri to pick a number to see which show we're talking about today. Siri, pick a number between 1 and 36.
It's 4.
Ooh, we haven't done 4. So 4 is Gilmore Girls. Now, if you don't know anything about Gilmore Girls, so it follows a mom and a daughter, Lorelai and Rory. And Lorelai, she came from a really wealthy family, but she got pregnant young and she didn't like being under her parents' thumb. So she decided to run away and start her life with her daughter and go from the ground up. She started as a maid. And where we see the show, she is a manager of that same inn that she started as a maid at. So over time, we get to see her interactions with her parents because I guess over the years, they didn't really have a close relationship. Maybe like they got phone calls like during holidays or something, but they didn't really interact. So we got to see her doing everything that she could for her daughter, even if that meant reconnecting with her parents and, having, to like bite her tongue and all of that and just, do the right thing for her child, make sure her daughter gets the best education she can. But the only way she can do that is getting financial help from her parents. So that starts the weekly Friday night dinners that her mom wants. And that way, they're connected. And, they're very different. Lorelai and Emily, which is her mom. So it's like, yeah, they would bump heads throughout the series because they have very strong views of the world, and neither one of them would want to let up. So maybe they have a little bit of the same personality where it's just like very stubborn and kind of, don't want to change how they see things. So I I like seeing the relationship between Lorelai and Rory. So here we go into what I like about the show. So I like that. I like how close knit that they are, but they seem more like best friends most of the time rather than mother and daughter. And and you see Lorelai struggle, trying to, be more mother like, and Rory doesn't always like it because it's just like, I know she's your best friend and all of that, but when it comes down to it, she's your mother. So yeah. So I like the relationship between both of them. I like the close knit community that Lorelai has living in the town that she does, living in Stars Hollow. I love that she has people that she can depend on no matter what. There's always somebody, whether it's Luke, whether it's Suki, whether it's Miss Patty, whether it's Babette. Like, it's a very close knit community, and I love that. It really shows, it takes a village. I love that. Let's see, what else do I like? Um, I like seeing the different worlds, just like, like normal world where most people live in, like what that's like versus like, the rich people world, their views, their what do you call it? like, just how they see things and how different it is from us. And I like seeing that. And I like seeing Luke be the father figure for Rory. And I like showing that you don't even have to be involved, with the mother, because he wasn't for the longest time, to be a father figure, to care about a child and to like instill, different values like in them and all of that, because he was there for Rory for a very long time before um, he got involved with their mother. And it's just like, because he was Vorlai's friend first, and I like that. I like he was always there for Rory, no matter what was going on with him and Lorelai. What else do I like? I like seeing different relationships. Like, you assume like friendships have to be um, that you always get along and then you have so much in common and that's why you click. And sometimes that's true, and you see that with like Rory and Lane and Lorelai and Suki. But then you see other relationships like the one Lorelai has with Michelle, and the one that Rory has with Paris. And they're very opinionated people, very angry, and you get to see like a different kind of relationship. And those kinds of relationships, that's the person that will tell you when you're wrong. That's the person that is like, it's not gonna let you get away with anything, like not make up excuses, like tell you the truth even if you don't want to hear it. And I think most people need friends like that. So yeah. Let's get into favorite characters. Suki. Suki is so funny and so caring, and I love her throughout the show. And she is kind of a little flaky. Um, at least right after the baby, and that's to be expected. It's hard to go from no kids to having a kid and trying to find that balance. So it took her a little bit of time, but she was finally able to get that balance. And it's like, as a parent, I get it, because like I don't really remember too much from, you know, I've been a mom for 13 years. So I don't really remember too much from my twins, like really struggling with that, because it's just like it felt all like happening really fast. So, and kind of a blur as well. So I don't really remember, but I remember with my youngest, like going from 2 to 3, and I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I already have 2 kids, but then it's just like I ended up being late for stuff, and it's like I was never late, and I thought I had enough time, and it's just finding the balance of, you know, learning what time you need to start get ready now. You need to get ready earlier, and even though you've done it before, it's not gonna be the same, and yeah, so you always need to find the balance. And like in the first few months, it takes a little bit of time before you truly, you know, get it all right. All right, we're still on favorite characters. Luke. I love Luke. He's so sarcastic and funny and very caring. He has a big heart, and he's there for his loved ones. And I like that he is also like not bullied by that guy Taylor. Um, and he stands his ground when he needs to. I love that about him, and I love, even though he doesn't like know that much about parenting, all of that, he still took in his nephew and he really tried. Um, and he tried really hard when he found out he had a daughter. Don't even get me started on that. We're gonna continue back to that later when we get to what I didn't like. But he's a really great person. So let's see. Who else? We said Suki and Luke. I know there's more than just them. Lane. I like Lane. I like that they show someone that lives in a strict household and kind of not knowing how to navigate just being a kid, being like a person that has their own ideas, their own likes, and struggling with how to approach that with your very strict parent that wants you to be this like certain cookie cutter way, and it's just like, but I'm not that. I've been born out of that mold, but it's like that's not who I am. And yeah, I liked seeing that. I liked her venturing out and finding herself and finding what she likes, and it ended up being like we already knew she liked music, but not just music. Like she liked making music. She liked being a drummer, and it's just I like they showed like exploring who you are and what you like, and having to go against your parents to do what you want and what makes you happy. And it's just like I know like in many cultures like you want to do your best to make your parents happy and to make them proud of you, but you also have to think about yourself. You have to think about what makes you happy, and because at the end of the day, if you're not happy, it it can lead to other things. So like your happiness is important. Of course, you don't want to disappoint your parents, but it's just like it's your life. They can live their life however they want, but you live your life how it makes you happy. I like that over time she had to learn and accept that. All right, anybody else? Hmm, let's see. Honestly, I like Paris. I wasn't sure about her at first because of how strong like she is. Like she's a lot to take in. So but I just like she has very strong opinions. She knows what she wants. She's very driven, and she has a really big heart, even though you can't tell because it's like she masks it behind like being angry and assertive and all these other things, but she's very caring. And she ends up becoming one of Rory's closest friends. I didn't see that coming at all when I started watching it, but I like that. I like how much she was there for Rory, and even though she had her moments where she wasn't good about expressing herself, and maybe that's like the environment she grew up in, because she grew up in an environment a lot like Lorelai's, where it's like you're suppressed, you're not allowed to speak your mind and tell people what you're feeling. So I think that's what she struggled with, was the right way to communicate. But she got there eventually. So yeah. Those are my main favorite characters. And I know you're like, you didn't mention Lorelai and Rory, and it's like I didn't always like them. But the characters I mentioned, I like them most of the time. But I mean, I do love the mother and daughter bond between Rory and Lorelai like so much. Least favorite characters. Alright, least favorite. Taylor. I don't like bossy people, and bossy in the way where it's just like I need to make you feel less than. Like I don't like that. I don't like that he did that so much to people. Like he liked, being up here and everybody else is down here, and he took so much pride in that. I just didn't like it at all. It wasn't for me. Let's see other least favorite characters. Christopher. Now, I understand, it's hard, dealing with your daughter's mother and all of that, but he just was very hands off and didn't really put in much effort at all to be a parent. So he was very much that drop in kind of parent, and I don't like that. I don't like when parents choose to be that way. They just let one parent run the show without trying. He could have put in effort. He just chose not to, and I didn't like that. And I didn't like all the anger directed towards Luke for filling that role. And it's just like he wouldn't have had to fill it if you were there, if you were present. But you wanted to do other things. You didn't want to stick around and, be near your child. Like, you didn't have to live in the same exact town as your ex, but you could have stayed in the area that you guys were from. Like, it was like, what, 30 minutes or so, like, from them, from, like, I think what they said on the show. So it's just like, you could have stayed nearby. You chose not to, and that's your own issue. Like, the relationship you have with your child is based on your actions, like nobody else's. So there's that. um let's see, do I dislike anybody else? mm, Emily. I disliked Emily just because of how much she wanted to have her daughter just under her thumb constantly, and it was very hard for her to acknowledge that, she's her child, but she's also a grown woman now, and she can make her own decisions. And it's like, yeah, you're not always going to agree with them, but those are her choices to make. You you can't have those decisions anymore. When your kids are little, yeah, you get that, but when they're adults, you got to let them make their own decisions, like, regardless if you agree with them or not. Like, it's not your job to meddle, unless it's like she's, on a really bad path and you need to have some kind of intervention. Then I get it, but she wasn't doing any of that. She didn't need the intervention. What was the horrible thing she did? Just get with someone that you disapprove of? Like, that's not horrible. He wasn't a bad person. He just wasn't wealthy. Like, yeah. Don't get me started. Um, Hold on. Let me make sure I check this off before I, like, tell you guys all of this again in another video. All right. So we got to least favorite characters. Now, what I disliked about the show. Okay, back to Luke. I disliked that Anna, his ex, didn't tell him she was expecting a child when she found out after they broke up. Maybe, I can't remember for sure. I watched it not so long ago. If she already knew when they broke up that she was expecting, I can't remember which one it is. But regardless, whether she knew when she broke up with them or found out right after, she never said anything. And that to me is messed up. And, like, her reasoning is BS. Like, because he didn't like kids, because how he reacted to kids and all of that. A parent, a father, always has a right to know. Like, I understand not saying anything when it's you know essay and things like that. It's you know domestic violence, those kind of things, to me, are more understandable than just, you didn't like kids. Like, no, that's not okay. Just because they act a certain way, and you're, like, hesitant, like, oh, they don't like kids, I'm not going to tell them. Like, no, that's not okay. Because how somebody else is with other people's kids isn't always how they are with their own children. So, yeah, it's like, you won't know until you see for yourself. You can't just assume or put that on somebody without a discussion, without anything. And I didn't like how, when they went for the custody battle, they try to paint a picture of, you were never there, he didn't know. There's a difference between knowing and not being there, like Christopher, and not knowing. So how the hell am I supposed to know to be there for a child I didn't know existed? Like, come on now, make it make sense. So yeah, that bothered me so much. It bothered me so much. Another thing that bothered me was when Lorelai was dating, um, what was his name? His name isn't coming to me. They called him Digger, but that wasn't his name. That was a childhood nickname. His name isn't coming to me. I'll have to look it up. But Lorelai was dating. If you know, let me know. I might have it up here if I can remember his name. Jason. Thank you, Jason Styles. When she was dating Jason, Um, I didn't like, they kept it a secret. I understood why it was like a hard thing. It was like her dad's business partner. But I didn't like how it had to blow up the way that it did. Like, I get feeling betrayed and all that from your daughter, from your business partner, but I feel like it didn't have to be as big of a deal as it was, and it just turned so messy, and it's like lawsuits, and it's just like I feel like it could have been handled better by both parties. So yeah, I didn't like that. And I didn't like when Rory strung Dean along so long when um Jess came in the picture. I didn't like that. I didn't like that she couldn't just be upfront with what she was feeling, and that he had to be strung along for so long until he finally hit his breaking point. And he was like, you know what? You're not going to say it. He's not going to say it. I'm going to be the one to say it. You have feelings for this man, and I can't be with you. Well, you have these feelings for him. And yeah, I don't like that it had to come to that. And I'm sorry if the mic kind of went out because I accidentally hit it on myself. Yeah, so I didn't like that. All right, why would I recommend the show to another person? Honestly, if you like that close knit environment, if you like, show that's funny and like heartwarming, and they always have different things going on, you'll definitely like Gilmore Girls. Now you can watch it on Netflix. They have Gilmore Girls and they have The Year in the Life, and I've watched them so much. So much so, my little one will start singing the song as soon as I am watching it. So it's a really great show. It's so much fun, and I'm sure you'll love it. And it's like a nice family show, if you ask me. It's like really fun and uplifting, and it won't disappoint. Trust me. I hope you have a fabulous Friday and a great rest of your weekend. Bye.